Hi guys, it's Christine from Tamar's Hope, and I wanted to come on and share something that I feel that God put on my heart this morning, um, just in my prayer time with Him, and I wanted to share it with you guys before I go on with my day. It actually came out of a story I was kind of following just recently and came across about another pastor in, I think, South Carolina. His name, I think, is John Paul Miller. And his wife recently was discovered unalived. And I hate that word. And it was said to be self-inflicted. And I guess as I was just following this story a little bit more, I realized that, there was some severe abuse going on. And it sounds like, he was abusing her, and she had really just was documenting it, and she was recording it, and her, she was sharing it in videos and about the abuse and everything. And it turns out that it sounds like this guy was a real monster, and what he was doing with you know SA abuse and perversion, and all types of psychological, emotional, and physical and mental abuse. And she was 30 years old, and he was, I think he's, it was said that she was actually in the youth group at his church, and she was 14 years old when he started to groom her, and she was 28. He was 28, I'm sorry. And so they wound up getting married. He had had a previous wife with 5 children. And this just all started coming out as I started doing, listening more and hearing about, what happened. And it turns out that he divorced his ex-wife, got married to her, and he was really abusing her for a lot of years. And so, she was documenting that, and just recently she found, she wound up being found, with a self-inflicted, quote unquote, gunshot wound to the head. And it really got me thinking about, oh God, like whether he did it or not, we can be abused in such ways where, and I know in my own personal life and in my own journey with the ministry and the work that we do with the girls on the street, and just everything that has happened in my own life, that, and this is what I really wanted to share, was this morning in my time in prayer, I brought it, like I just started crying to the Lord, and I said, Lord, I don't want that to be me, like, because we can go through things in life that are so, like, so heavy and so hard that it just feels like it's going to take us out. And I feel like that's what this girl went through. Like I said, whether it turns out that they said that it was self-inflicted, but it turned out that this guy was stalking her. He was slashing her tires. He put a tracking device on her car. He was, apparently allegedly making her watch him, have affairs with other women, while they were, engaging in physical contact. And so I said, you know, while he was stalking her, and then she wound up being found, with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, it really got me thinking that we can go through such things in life that are so hard that it just makes us, whether he did that or she did that to herself, it makes us get to that point of just where we really feel like we can't take it anymore. We can't take another thing. And I hope this is coming out the way that I want to say it, but I just feel like it's a struggle for me to get the words out and what I'm trying to say. But I kind of just went before the Lord and I said, "Oh Lord, this was a beautiful woman, 30 years old, and beautiful. She seemed like she loved the Lord and she had her whole life ahead of her. And she just went through this horrible abuse with this man. And it was like she didn't have any other way out. She didn't feel like there was any way out where, she actually had hope to believe that her circumstances could change unless, she was actually, you know, offed by someone else or not. If she wasn't, that must have been the state of her mind to be able to do something like that. And, either way, I personally believe that he's responsible. But this is what I wanted to share, and this is important because this is what came to my mind this morning in my prayer time with the Lord, that we can go through such things in life that are so unbelievably hard and so heavy that there are times where we feel there's absolutely no a way of escape, and that our situation is never going to change, and that it'll always be this way, and it feels so hopeless and dark. That's those times when we will want to give up altogether and just either do something to self-sabotage or do something to hurt ourselves in such a way that like there's no coming back from that mistake. Or just it got me thinking that in my own life I've been at that place so many times, and I could still even get there, even in my life with different situations that are going on in my life at times today. Like, you just get to this place of like despair. And I was praying and I felt the Lord said to me that not only does that happen to us, but when we are anointed to set the captives free, and the enemy attacks us so hard when he knows that we're anointed to set the captives free and to really help people that have been either physically, emotionally, spiritually, or abused by others that have internalized that abuse to the point where they want to off themselves or take themselves out of the game altogether. It's really, that, that's where the enemy attacks, is when we are being used in that way to help those who otherwise would have had people put them in these situations where other people don't even have to do it. We'll get to a point where we'll do it ourselves because it's such a psychological mind game. And I believe that it's definitely demonic, that it can get you to the point where other people don't even have to do anything, that you would do it yourself because you just feel there's such hopelessness and despair, and these people have messed with your mind so bad that you just feel like there's no way out. There's no other way out. And when I was thinking about this woman and what she went through, it even just got me thinking of my own story and what I've gone through in life, and how there were so many times where I really felt like I wanted to throw in the towel because things had gotten so hard, and people were just playing mind games with me, and psychological abuse and gaslighting and all types of just narcissistic abuse, and and you just feel like you're going to lose it. And I know that I've been at that place in my own life, and it really got me just like thinking about where God has brought me from, and being grateful that I'm even in the place where I'm at in my life right now, because so many people are hurting, and so many people are with, even with this young beautiful woman, with what just happened with her, whether, like I said, it was self-inflicted or not, she was still at a point where she couldn't escape the abuse for whatever reason. And I just went before the Lord and I was crying out to him, and I was just saying, oh God, protect me, keep a hedge of protection. And this is the other thing too, is, the enemy will use all sorts of lies, or even in our own thinking, that, we have to put ourselves in these situations, whether it's with a job or whether it's in a relationship or whether, whatever it is, that we are obligated to have to put ourselves in that situation because, we don't have a way to, make ends meet, or, we need this job or this situation or this relationship. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is worth your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical sanity. And I know there's been times in my life where I've believed that lie, that, oh, I need to be in this job, or I need to tolerate this abuse from this person, or I need, this situation. And it just was so toxic and unhealthy. And thank God I've come to a point in my life now where maybe there's, been some consequences to those choices, but I've escaped with my life. It doesn't matter. I had to remove myself from those relationships, and I had to remove myself from those friendships, and I had to remove myself from those jobs, and I had to remove myself from those things in order to escape with me and in order to be safe. And I was just sitting here today and I was just thanking the Lord in my prayer time and just saying, God, please continue to help me. Help me not to believe the lies of the enemy, or even my own lies that will try to come in and tell me that I need to subject myself to any type of abuse of others, whether, like I said, it's a relationship, or whether it's a situation, or whether it's a job, or, even my own thinking, like that I need to put myself in a situation and subject myself to something that's so toxic and unhealthy to the point where I'm jeopardizing my own life and my own health and my own sanity. And I just really feel so grateful today. Like, even this morning, like I said, I was just praying and spending my time with the Lord, and I'm just so thankful that, I just brought that before the Lord. Like, thank you for bringing me as far as you did. Thank you for getting me to the place even where I'm at today, where, it's safe, it's peaceful, there's rest, there's no chaos, and God, help me not to abuse others, right? Like, help me to, because a lot of the times when we're so abused and we go through so much, and I believe the whole reason for it is for whatever that the enemy right? It all comes back to the enemy, but either the enemy or that person wants to abuse you to the point where they totally like take you out of the person of who you are, and take you so far out of character that you don't even recognize the person of who you are, and it's not even the person who God made you and intended you for you to be, because they are so miserable with their own life and their own situation that they just have to push you to the brink and to the point of no return so that you snap and you act so far out of character that you don't even recognize the person that you are, the thing that you just did or said, because this person has driven you to the point of such insanity and then that you wind up doing something that you wind up regretting, and then they turn around and they act like you're the crazy one because you did what you did, and you wind up looking like you're the bad person to everybody else because they didn't see how that person pushed you to the point of such psychological, emotional, mental agony and abuse. And you wind up paying the consequences for something because of what somebody else did to push you to that point. And we're all responsible. We're all responsible for our own actions. But the point of what I'm trying to say here is that people can push us to that point, you know, after a while and after so much abuse, and when we don't see that there's any way out. It's like you think of, like, you know, people when they push you back into a corner, or you know, it's like a caged animal. You know, you'll do anything to get out or anything to escape, or you'll feel like you have nothing to lose, so you'll just kind of go for broke because you're just like, you know, you're willing to just risk it all because you just are at the end of your rope, and you just don't have any hope of, you know, escaping that situation, and you don't see excuse me, you don't see any way out. And I'm so thankful that the Lord has brought me through so many situations like that in my own life. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you that. I mean, I've shared it, you know, through my testimony and just through, you know, the ministry that we do to the women on the streets. But it really is amazing to think where how God has rescued me from all of those situations at all of those different times. To be where I'm at now in my life is truly nothing less than a miracle. It's an absolute miracle that I have made it to this point at this stage of the game in my life, and I haven't done anything to the point where it's like irreparable, where I have had to either suffer the consequences of doing something to someone else, or God forbid doing something to myself. But I know that I've been at those breaking points, and it's a really, really scary place to be. And I think that that's what happened to this young girl who was just really beautiful, and she, like I said, seemed to like really love the Lord. And like I said, she was in this really abusive, narcissistic, it sounds like a narcissistic, abusive, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, uh, SA abuse. And it sounds like she just really was at the end of her rope, and she didn't see any way out, and she just despaired and was hopeless. And, you know, like I said, whether that happened to her, whether she did it to herself, is just really so heartbreaking. And I think of all the ways that God has, you know, helped me to escape those situations in my own life. And I'm just really filled with gratitude today. And I really wanted to come on and share that because I feel like so many people are going through this in their life. So many people are hurting. So many people are out there and they don't know what to do because they're in these situations, or they're in these relationships, or they're in this job, and it just seems like a dead end, and they're not getting anywhere, and they're just spinning their wheels, and they're, just on the verge of doing something that, they would wind up regretting because they just don't have any hope. And that's why I think it's so important. Like, that was another thing too, is that was the other thing that came to my mind, is that it's not just, those situations, but when you're on the other side of that. And that's why I was going to say it's so important with the work that we do with the women on the streets, because we really offer that hope. And I believe that the enemy really attacks us when he knows that we're anointed to set the captives free and to help people that have been abused in these ways, spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, essay abused, and and they've internalized it to the point where they want to take themselves out of the game altogether. And because of what these other people have done to them, and then the other people get off scot-free, and they just, oh, after the fact, oh, what a shame, look, look what happened to them, and all the while, people don't know that this is what was going on behind the scenes, and it's because they were driven to that point, due to so much abuse. And I really believe that when we are a mediator, and we're there to help those, to help themselves, and to share with them that there is hope, I believe the enemy comes against us and attacks us the most at those points. So I really just wanted to come on here, and I really wanted to share that that's just really something that came to my mind this morning, with this story that I heard, with this young girl. Her name is Micah Miller, and um, 30 years old, and it just is so sad, because I just think, but for the grace of God, there go I. And wow, it just really puts things into perspective in life, and really brings me a lot of gratitude this morning for where the Lord has brought me from, and even the times where I get frustrated and I say, God, why do these things have to happen in my life? Why did I have to go through that? Or, why did that was such a stressful time? And the Lord always reminds me that, you know, even if things didn't go the way that I wanted to, and it didn't have the outcome that I wanted it to have, you know what? I escaped with my life, and I escaped with my sanity, and I escaped with my mental health. And you really can't put a price on that. There is no price that anybody could pay, millions and millions of dollars. And you know what? I have peace. And there's people who have tons and tons of money, and, they don't have peace. And, you can't put a price on that. And you can't put a price on, your relationship with God. And, so I really wanted to come on here and share that, just to encourage anyone listening, encourage myself, and remember that, but for the grace of God, there go I, and I would not be where I am in my life today. And I could have easily been, God forbid, I said, thank you, Lord. I was thanking the Lord. Thank you, Lord. I know that I could have easily been a statistic in so many ways in life, because of the things that have happened to me, or even the bad choices that I've made along the way. And God, through his grace and mercy, has saw fit to keep me up until this point. And I just pray that he continues to do so, and that he continues to keep you all. And if you know of anyone, or if you're being abused in any of these ways, I would just say, reach out for help. Try to call a trusted friend, or somebody that you can trust, that you can talk to, and get out of that situation. I know I've been through so many of those situations, like I said, through homelessness, through poverty, through so many different things in my life. And just really puts, like I said, it really puts things into perspective. And there's, you know, really no price you can put on your peace and your sanity. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you later and see you in the next video. Take care. God bless. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this content and share if you like this content, and help to get this word out to many of those who are suffering and in these types of situations. And if you need help, once again, call 911. If it's an emergency, call a trusted friend, someone you can talk to. Reach out for help. There's so much help out there, to anyone going through these type of situations and this kind of abuse. And leave a comment in the comment section. Maybe I can help you. I'm in the East Coast, New York, New Jersey metro region. And also you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And we're also on TikTok. And you can go to our website at tamarshopeusa.org. That's tamarshopeusa.org. And I hope and pray just everybody be well and stay well out there. And because we are really living in some perilous times, and I do believe that that persecution will come and is here, and spiritual warfare is real, and it's a real battle out there, just living day to day. So I think that's it for now, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.